going on, with this Star Wars and everything else. And
Yeah.
well, let's get down to it, man. What's been going on with the rumors and so on and so forth?
Well, a lot of stuff went on Reddit. Uh, and at makingstarwars.net, Jason Ward put out there that Ray was a Palpatine and all the just piles and piles of garbage. Let's put it this way: there are show sites that are married to Ray Nobody or Ray Not Solo because they're making money, and that's all it is about. Off of Raylo, they know perfectly well that Raylo makes no sense in the context of the story.
Right.
Um, so he's got this Ray Palpatine up, and of course, everybody in the fandom menace is now running with it like it's going to happen. This is how dumb people are being. First off, Jason Ward's not always right. In fact, lots of times he's wrong. Second of all, I know a few things, and I know he's lost a big step or two or five. Uh, the Ray Palpatine rumor started right after TFA. Idiots going, she fights like him, and we heard his voice, and we heard his voice in her vision, and I'm like, yeah, you did. You also heard Yoda, Ben Kenobi. You heard Vader's breathing, and you heard Leia. So is she Yoda's kid? I mean, she could be Yoda's kid, And if you really want to go Ray Palpatine, maybe Han is actually his last name is Palpatine. How would that be for a there you go, guys. Go with God. I mean, that's how dumb this has gotten. And it's right up there. Like a few weeks ago, it was Ray, clone of Leia. There was actually a rumor a long time ago of Ray being the ancestor of or the descendant of Bastila Shan and Revan. It's like, okay. They're not really canon, but fine. Then Ray Kenobi. It's been all over the place, and I think the whole who Ray is has been handled really badly. When you watch The Force Awakens, if you know how to watch a movie, you know who she is the moment you see her. You know exactly who she is the moment you see her.
Right.
I mean, I've had executives at certain studios say when they saw Daisy Ridley's headshot, they knew who she was going to be because she looks a lot like Harrison Ford's daughter, Georgia. She really does. It's like it's wow, and it was obvious. JJ basically putting things out there signals. She's a Skywalker of some sort. Okay, whose is she? And I'm gonna say something here, and a lot of people who are married to the EU and the whole Mara Jade and Luke getting together thing. JJ is basically following what George Lucas wanted to do. A lot of it, what we saw in The Force Awakens was a flavor of his ideas for the sequel trilogy. He wanted Luke to be guarding the Sith temple with a Sith tomb, keeping it safe from his batshit crazy nephew. And what was going to be was the daughter, Han and Leia's daughter. The name was Kira in the sequel in George's, and it was actually the first name that they gave Ray. And then JJ's cut that out and said, no, we're going to call it Ray. And that's even an indication of who she is, by the way.
Right.
Her name means king in French. There were Luke wanted her to come and help him protect the temple. And Han was dead set against it, of course, being very overprotective, So we've got Luke isolated in both. The differences are what he was doing there, which is the monumental flaw, I think, of TFA and the sequel trilogy, is what Luke is doing there, him cutting himself off from the Force like he did, and the reasons, because we didn't get any real reasons of why in TLJ
None.
And that's because Ryan Johnson ran off and did whatever the fuck he wanted. So we got all that going on. And, but the thing about it is, George Lucas didn't like the Mara Jade line.
Right.
He
Right.
wanted the fans to have fun with it. That's fine. But what he thought Star Wars was canon. And I don't mind Mara Jade being an acolyte, a Padawan. Luke kind of saves her and turns her to the light side, whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole relationship thing. If you look at who Luke's examples were of great Jedis, it wouldn't be his father. It would be Obi-Wan. It would be Yoda. It'd be Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Yeah. Yeah.
And Mace Windu. It'd be the Jedis that made a difference throughout. And that's the thing. And that's the fundamental difference. And I mean, I don't mind Mara Jade's character, but that whole thing with her and him kind of twists the character. So that's what JJ was going for. All right, was what Lucas wanted, and that was kind of the roadmap he used, just in a different way.
Right.
And so they thought for a minute that Rey would be Luke's kid, and then they thought no, because how are you going to do that? How convoluted will it get? And it just made more sense to make them to have twins. We'll get into that in a minute. When you look at when a woman is in a family where there are twins involved, it's likely she will have twins. That's an inherited thing. Leia was Luke's paternal twin. So, I'll talk about this. There is a big, I think it's a plot leak, and I think it's great. I think and people are like, that's too weird, because they're stupid. I'll tell you how this happened. If you look in the Disney canon, the people involved when Ben Solo was born, Han and Leia, their point of view is never ever consulted. Chuck Wendig, no one talks about that. Claudia Gray, no one talks about their point of view, and they were there. Them, whatever, the droid or the doctor or whatever, when Leia was giving birth. So the stories of his birth are very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. What really happened, we don't know. So the thing about it is, Leia could have very likely given birth to twins. What happened to the other one, we don't know. Now, were they separated? Because Leia felt like, keep one safe or two safe? Maybe. Rey doesn't have any recollection of her parents.
I mean, look, if now that you said that, and I'm so happy you said that, it makes so much freaking sense now. Thank you, Steph. I mean, think about it. It's all about destiny, Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
so what if what you're saying right now, that genius shit you just said, where Leia had twins and did exactly what Obi-Wan and Yoda decided to do with her and her brother, like it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And that's probably why they don't remember him. Maybe she did drop her off at Jakku. Maybe Han and Leia dropped her off and left the Falcon there, and he had to just act like, somebody took the Falcon from me. Like he couldn't have any attachments to him and Leia, leaving Rey on Jakku the way they did, and then,
I think here's what I think happened. Here's what I think happened. I think basically somebody adopted her.
Right.
They gave her to a couple to raise. That's what Kyle Ron saw, or something like that. But carbonite does come in to the picture. What happens when you're encased in carbonite? You don't age. Everything basically stops. So if you're a 5-year-old girl and you're tossed into that, 10 years later you're brought out. When you meet your 30-year-old brother, biologically, you're not 30 years old. Your real age and your biological age are not the same. So she's 19, but
she's really freaking like 10 and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no,
yeah.
No, she's 30.
Oh, I
She's
see. I
yeah.
see.
So when you got to think about that. So how did this happen? Um, Now I think there may be a connection to the Mandalorian, maybe because apparently the Mandalorian is sent to kill a kid, and instead he protects it. And carbonite's going to be a real big deal throughout the whole thing, which kind of contradicts the original trilogy, where when Han was thrown into that, it was a kind of a unique circumstance, we were told. But I think but then you go into the Clone Wars, and Obi-Wan and uh, um, Anakin and a few other Jedi's are encased in carbonite to go underneath the radar. And here's the thing, this is why I think it's real. This is why I think it happened. When you're encased in carbonite and you're force sensitive, you're cut off from the living force.
Yeah, because you're
Leia and
totally.
Luke both think she was dead.
Mm, mm.
All right.
Well, I have a question. How long, like from Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi, how long was that, and how long was Han Solo cryogenically frozen?
He was. It's between 6 and 10 months.
Okay,
Let's
so it
say.
wasn't that long. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. So and the car, uh, hibernation sickness. You're blind.
Yeah.
You lose short term or long term memory, or both. Which, with Ray not remembering who she was, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You vomit and you're dizzy. And in worst case scenarios, you die. Um, and there is a carbon freezing chamber on the bounty hunter ship. Okay, so what is actually going on here now? I think that she might have a connection to this, but I've been told we're going to be led to think that.
Is the Mandalorian protecting a girl or a
I
little
think
boy?
so. I
Because if
think
he's
so.
protecting a little girl, then what they're going to do is they're going to show you that how she got the jackal through the Mandalorian.
Yeah, because I think that he is the one that left her there.
Yeah.
Because when you watch that ship leave, it looks a lot like Zori Bliss's ship, but it's also in the scenes from The Mandalorian. So this is going to be. I mean, I don't know, but then I was also told it may or may not be her. So I'm like going, what the fuck, you know? But I do think that Carbonite and Ray kind of go hand in hand, because the only other way she wouldn't remember where she came from, either the people who raised her or deep down her parents, are, you know, the only time I've ever seen any of that really happen in Star Wars is you either have a Jedi mind wipe, or the father, when he wiped Anakin's vision of what he would become, touched his head, poof, it was gone. Um, that's the only way I can see it happening after Carbonite, and Carbonite now makes sense, and it also makes sense with the connection that they would be not just brother and sister but twins.
Yeah.
Uh, with the same, because in the TFA novel, Ray has visions of a little boy in black, of a boy in black, of this person she's connected to. Okay, and that's the Skywalker bloodline right there. And I find it funny. I really think that the story group is freaking out about this.
Yeah.
I really do, but we've got all the rumors that they're testing 6 different endings. Uh, my guy said that's not necessarily untrue, but that doesn't ruin people's identity of who they are. Um, so they're probably just trying to figure out how things are gonna work out. And I do know for a fact that Kyle Ron does die.
Mm.
I know, because I mean, yeah, think about it. The way Adam Driver's been treated through this
Yeah.
by his
Yeah.
so-called fans, you know, they don't realize how disgusting they are.
I have a question now. How do you feel about this rumor going around about Rey with the resurrection powers. They're talking about they're gonna resurrect Kylo Ren and all this stuff. I mean,
no. I mean, that's just maybe Luke, maybe Anakin, but well, Anakin, that would be interesting because who would you get? Who would you get? You know, just we'll talk a little bit about Anakin in a second. I think it's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense in Star Wars. I think it's just Jason Ward, probably where it came from. Trying to pull something out of his ass again. That guy is just,
ridiculous.
You know what I told you, right? I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, I'm not saying yeah. Let's just put it this way, he's breaking down.
Let's put it this way, that boy's got to earn a lot of money right now. So all the weird shit and that he's putting out there that people are eating up, then there's a good reason for it too. That shit doesn't come cheap.
Nope.
Nope. That's what, $400 an hour. Oh man. So anyway,
at least.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Anakin.
Yeah.
Because redemption is this, redemption. Just because Anakin's the one part that was still Anakin Skywalker and Vader rose up and saved Luke doesn't mean that Anakin himself was redeemed in the eye of everybody else.
Right.
In the EU, Leia's confronted by his ghost in the Truce of Bakura, and just flips out at him. It's one thing to do one right thing in your life after all the mistakes, breaking your mother's heart, breaking your wife's heart, just basically trashing your whole life. It's another thing, and trashing billions of people's lives, and by your own hand killing hundreds, thousands, maybe.
Right.
It's another thing to think you're going to get forgiven for that, because that's a lot of souls lost. And even George Lucas said, Anakin's not exactly redeemed in the way you think he is.
Right.
And I remember the artwork that was put out there, that he put out there, of what he wanted to talk about with the sequel trilogy. You see Anakin one thing, and then you see switching back between Vader and Anakin, which would be really kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think we might see that. But as far as redemption goes, I think that Kyle Ron is going to end up mimicking that, saving Rey at the last minute when he realizes who she is.
Yeah.
And,
again.
Yeah. And I honestly thought he knows who she is. But I'll tell you one thing, and I think he does. I really honestly think he does. When he said to Luke, you chose her over me, I don't know if that meant right away or did it mean back in the past.
Right.
So then you go, all right, why did he say that? And how would, you know what I'm saying? So they might have been separated as kids, but that doesn't mean that Rey wasn't at the Jedi Academy or something like that.
Right.
Because there's a reason why Kylo Ren said that. It screams to me sibling envy. So does he know who she is? He might. Snoke may have told him. He might have figured it out for himself. Though he's an idiot, so who knows? But as far as redemption goes, it's probably going to mirror what happened with Anakin. And like Vader, he dies after he does it.
Right.
And I'm just going to go and take videos of Reylos crying.
That's going to be fucking funny, man.
Because I know they're just going to be going, and what I find fascinating is, people in the fandom menace, they hear these rumors. Let's go through the rumors. Rey Palpatine, Rey Kenobi, Rey Luke's clone hand, Rey resurrected Anakin, Rey clone of Leia, which is funny as shit. Ray Shan, she's a descendant of Basil Shan and Revan. On and on and on and on. You could actually go through every character in Star Wars, and she'll some fanboy waiting for his hot pocket in the basement. Well, yeah, that's it, and it's like,
No, yeah, exactly.
no, and I think it's really. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but it doesn't look like it's going any of that way. Again, watch TFA. There's signals there.
Mm.
TLJ, Craig was the one that after Snoke's Spinal Tap discovered it, the voice on the cliff, and when you synthesize all the other sound out, she says right in the microphone, "You are his salvation. You are his niece. Say it."
Mm.
All right. And they're fighting over the Skywalker lightsaber like two spoiled brats. My toy, my toy.
Mm-hmm.
When she leaves uh, Crate, she's got the past with her, the Jedi books, the Skywalker lightsaber. Leia, she's on the Falcon. She's got Chewie, and she slams the door and cuts herself off from dumbass. She's basically, and the look on her face was the look a Han would probably give him, because
Yeah,
that's where it came from. That
exactly.
that glower, and then they take off. So I'm torn. I still think she knows who she is by that time. I think she kind of inherently knows because it's just weird, and you got to remember how long between Han's death, the destruction of Starkiller Base, and Crate was it 2-3 days?
Yeah, right.
Maybe a week. How's Leia gonna sit down and say, "Honey, I gotta tell you something"? And is Rey ready to hear it? The mirror scene proved that she wasn't. Just like Luke wasn't prepared to go into the Force tree and face his own fears.
Right.
Rey wasn't ready to go into the mirror to the sea cave and face her own fears. And what she saw was herself, that's what she's afraid of. But when you do the mirror scene, you see Leia's face.
Mm-hmm.
And when you set Han, there's a picture of Han that Baz Taylor put up, and we were talking about this. It's him.
Yeah, you can see his damn hairline.
Yeah, you see his hairline. You see the V-neck
Mm-hmm.
of his shirt. Somebody tried to say it was Leia. It's like, that's not Leia. That's Han. He's the one that's dead. He'd be the one to show up.
Right.
He'd be, and the reason why she didn't say it is because she was afraid. And what does the dark side do? It uses your fear against you.
Yep.
Right? Which is, part of the reason why Anakin, fell. His pride, his fear of losing Padme, his failure at saving his mother. He did everything wrong.
And I think we just uncovered the whole meaning of this sequel trilogy thing. Right?
Yeah.
Notice, right? We're gonna get cryptic here.
Yeah.
Notice on how everything from 7 all the way to 9 starts with the. Right? It's a MacGuffin. And you said it yourself. It's the saber. It's the hilt. It's the Skywalker hilt. That's what this whole thing is about.
Yeah. And
think about it. The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Through the saber. The Last Jedi through the saber. And now the Rise of Skywalker through the saber.
Yeah, because we were talking about this before. Apparently, the Resistance gets a hold of this dagger.
Mm.
Let's assume, because the only dagger I can think of in Star Wars, maybe there's another one, is the Black Dagger of Mortis.
Right.
It's the one that kind of basically held the Mortis demigods there in place. And they somehow get a hold of it, and that is basically the key to lead them on this chase to find whatever it was. The key to keeping the final key keeping whatever the bad guy is, where he is, or to getting rid of him completely, is again Anakin's lightsaber. Because if you remember, in the last, the Mortis trilogy, the very end of it, the father takes the black dagger away from the son and kills himself.
Mm.
All the power that the son has, and the daughter too, came from the father. He was the balance.
Right.
And he kept both of them in check. The son is screaming, "How could you do this? You're so selfish," blah, blah, blah. And Anakin comes up behind the son and shoves him with his lightsaber.
Mm.
And it's the same lightsaber that Luke inherits, that Rey inherits. Okay? And there you go. Only a Skywalker can carry that lightsaber.
And there's a reason why Kylo Ren wanted that saber.
Yep. He knows whose saber it was.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, and here's the problem I have, another problem I have with TLJ. And the fight in TFA, Kyle Ren's calling it to him. You don't see Rey off camera doing the same thing. It goes flashing past Kyle Ren and lands in Rey's hands.
Mm-hmm.
In TLJ, they're fighting over it. Now, Kyle Ren has, quote unquote, a legitimate claim to the crystal, but it always ends up with Rey. She's the one that took it. She's the one that repairs it. Now, sure, Jedis have to make their own lightsabers. However, maybe repairing Anakin's lightsaber is the same.
Probably.
I don't know. They have to resolve that somehow because there are nitpickers out there.
I mean, a Master Jedi's lost saber after his death, found by another Jedi, can that be used? Can it be repaired? These are questions that this sequel trilogy did not answer.
No, it didn't, because if you remember right, wasn't it Luke finding Qui-Gon's saber in Obi-Wan's stuff and not being able to ignite it?
Mm-hmm.
So if Rey can ignite the Skywalker lightsaber, now someone say she's Anakin reincarnated.
I remember that.
No, she's not Anakin reincarnated. Shut up.
Oh, how about this one? Luke's clone hand.
When they would say that, when we'd be talking to Craig, and I'd be like, do you realize how stupid you sound?
He was just pulling your leg, but because it does sound stupid, it shit is retarded. It's like
people believe it. People believe it. I have a friend who posted on his Facebook page that, and he's a movie director.
Right.
Rey's a clone. Of what?
Of who exactly? Like
what? Just because there are clones in Star Wars doesn't mean that's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life.
Hybrid says she's a trans testicle. You might as well say that.
That's how dumb they're getting. That's how stupid they're. It's gotten so retarded. And again, you have to blame Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
But you also have to blame the audience. And I'll tell you why. You watch TFA, you kind of get a feeling she's probably a Skywalker of some kind. And by the end of it, when Leia walks past Chewie to hug Rey,
that signifies something. I mean, Chewbacca, that's like her long time fucking friend, and she just walked past him like, okay, yeah. Rey.
Yeah. All right. But then you also see the blue ring with 2 stones.
Mm.
All right. And you look at it, and when you look at them, remember the part in the fight scene where Kyle Ren is laying there, and he's basically rolling around going, Rey, oh Rey, if you only knew. And she's standing there going,
the hell you tell you?
There's that chasm between them. The blue stone and the other blue stone, if you look at anything like charts of twin babies, fraternal twins, that's exactly what that looks like. And the chasm between them is the uterine channel.
Mm.
And that's exactly what that looked like to me. I've been talking to this with a couple other people, and That's a mother's ring. That is a mother's ring. The moment I saw it, I thought that was. So then you get to TLJ. You've got Ray on the cliff hearing, "You are his salvation, you are his niece." You've got um, the fight over this the lightsaber. And what I find fascinating is it's after he calls her a nobody. And when he does it, he does everything to scream, "I'm lying, I'm lying, I'm lying to your ass." And people in the fandom menace ran with it, the lie, just like the Raylos did. And you should all be embarrassed. You should all be ashamed of yourselves for going, "You're a goddamn liar." Because
Mm-hmm.
I did that.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed. I was pissed for months. And then I was like, he's lying to her.
Mm.
You know, um, because again, it's a mirror of ESP. Darth Vader, "I am your father." Everybody walked up saying he's lying. But here's the key. If you watch that movie, when they do that force bond, father, son, the Falcon takes off, and Admiral Piet's going, "Shit, I'm
Mm-hmm.
dead.
Mm-hmm.
Shit." Like that. And Vader just walks away with his head down. That was the clue. He wasn't lying.
Mm.
All right. And the clue that Kyle Ron was lying was them fighting over the saber.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
He's looking away, doing what people do when they lie. He's a shitty liar. It's like, and I think in that instance, when Ray figured it out, she knows she knows he was lying. Maybe she doesn't know how she knows, but she knows he wasn't telling her the truth.
Mm.
Okay, because you gotta go back to TFA. Ray, oh Ray, if you only knew. While he's laying there rolling around, he kind of knows who she is. Well, this is going to be very interesting. And I still think, I think the twins thing is true, and I think the carbonite thing is true with her because she has no idea who her parents are.
Yeah, that has to be explained, and I think that the your theory is the best one that I've heard ever because carbonite, duh,
Yeah,
does it gives you these side effects, and especially it depends how long you've been cryogenically frozen as
yeah,
to how the effects are going to take place, and she seems like she bumped her head and and it's like you know what I mean. Hey,
yeah,
what's going
yeah.
on, Death Guard? Thank you for joining, guys.
Hey guys, what's up? You know, so and when did it happen? Was she was she separated from him when they were born? Which, if you think about it, would Han be all for that? Yeah, let's do that.
Exactly.
Especially a little girl.
Exactly.
No.
and,
Or
and you could tell he wouldn't be for it because remember when they started speaking about Kylo, him and Leia, and he felt torn apart, but he had told her, but we had to, we had to leave him with Luke because remember she was like, oh, I think it was a mistake that we did that. So you could tell he cared for his children.
yeah, yeah, and he, you know, but now remember in the novel, I've got the TFA novel. There's when they the scene where Ray has her Force vision. It's very much more detailed. There's more to it. And there's a scene where she's standing in a green wood, and you hear a man saying to her, "Wait right here, sweetheart. I'll be back. I'll be right back." Okay, who's the only person in Star Wars that ever used that? Han. The
Mm-hmm.
word sweetheart.
Yeah.
The only one. So, was she kidnapped on his watch?
Mm. Great question.
You know, and why? You know, was it one of his former enemies? Trying to get revenge for something, or when I look at the
Well,
Mandalorian,
actually, hold on. Now that you said that, in TFA, in that scene where he's in the freighter ship, where he had Dr. Millennium Falcon in it as well.
yeah,
Right, he had a whole there was the scene before they let these monsters go. Remember, there were like you know two conversations between two bad guys that wanted Han Solo going on, and they were like, "Oh, you owe us, and you owe us." And one of them has said something very vital. Now that you brought that up, One of
What?
them had said, we remember, Solo, we took something precious of yours. He did say that. And
Holy shit! He wasn't talking about the Falcon either.
you know what I mean?
I didn't. Oh my god, Jay! Holy crap! You're a genius. I have to watch that part again.
It must
So-
go on.
Oh my god. So that says that. Okay, then we go back to the green. Her vision within the green, in the woods where she hears a man say that to her.
Right.
And then when they're landing at Takodana, she says, "I've never seen anything so green." And he looks at her like,
Yes, you have, kid.
"Yeah, does he know it's her?" They have the, and they're. What I love about it, the whole thing, they finish each other's sentences.
She knew the detail on how to stop the ship from actually, exploding and destroying itself. I mean, she knew everything, and he looked at her like, "Holy shit, she's thinking as fast as I am." On top of that, why is it all of a sudden, before she said the green? Remember what she said? Oh, I've never seen something so green.
Yeah.
He told her. Well, me and Chewie were wondering if he wanted to stick around. Why did he want to all of a sudden to take her? Because remember, Han Solo's a loner. He doesn't want anybody with him like that. All of a sudden, he just invites her.
Yeah, well, they land at Takodana. He comes off the ship. She's standing there, and this is after they land, or after that part where she said, "Never seen anything so great," and he looks at her, and he walks over to her and he says, something about giving her a job, and hands her the blaster. And when you look at that, that's a real father-kid moment right there.
That's something like your dad would have done. You're like, here's your first rifle.
Yeah, Well, he did that. Here's your, you're 12 years old. Here's your shotgun.
Right.
That's a real father-daughter moment, and father-kid moment, and it goes right. People just missed it. They have no idea what they just saw, and here's the thing I think is going to happen. I think Rey is going to figure it out who she is before she runs into Kyle Ron. I don't think she knows how all this happened, but I think she gets flashes and stuff. I think there's going to be maybe sort of another going to do it, a conversation between her and Leia, something like that. And because she has to be tempted to do the dark side, right? Because
that's always a must.
Yeah, that is going to be the catalyst to get Kyle Ron to go, "She's my sister."
Yep. Steph, your audio went out. Yeah, your audio went out. No. Yeah, just come back on, I guess. We're still on. Yeah, so me and Steph are just piecing together, and trying to actually, try to talk about all these rumors that are going on and what to really follow and what not to follow. Now, you guys can, use your own intuition, and but us being Star Wars fans since '77, we basically know what it is, Ah, shit. Can't hear you. Fuck. Is your volume down? Hmm. Yeah, I can't hear you. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties here with this, but yeah, so we're just piecing together exactly, what's going on, with this Star Wars thing. And what we're doing is we're taking it back We're going with dialogue. We're going with stuff that people didn't see, within the films. Even though we're not fans of them, but if you've watched Star Wars as long as we have and have stuck around, you will know Star Wars. And when you try to put all of your Star Wars knowledge with and you try to piece things together with this new formula that they're trying to put together, it doesn't match up. But this is what guides you and helps you. It's like using the Force. This is what pushes you through. Like, okay, well, I can see. I can see exactly where other people didn't see what I'm seeing. So and it's a great thing that and Steph is very knowledgeable. So is a Star Wars dad, piece of Star Wars dad, my man Mazurus, and as well as Craig from Reviews for You. And it's to a point, man, that we're just trying to piece everything together and just trying to throw it out there so that way you guys won't be misled, because that's the worst thing we want is for anybody to just keep following lies and shit, and then all of a sudden, uh you go and hey, I can hear you now.
All right. Hey, man.
She's
All right.
back. Yeah,
So,
so I was just letting everybody know what we're doing, as they're piecing together the dialogue and stuff. Because if you're from 1977, like we have, it's like using the Force right now, and
yeah.
we're just pointing out exactly what other people didn't see,
Yeah. Well, the one of the guys I talked to, the film exec,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be brutally honest. I know that we probably have MCU fans here. He hates Marvel, and the reason why is because
Kings.
people have lost their way of watching movies. You know, because everything is too. I don't know. I don't know. I don't watch Marvel. I hate it. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, Marvel for
Um,
me. I mean, I was a big time Marvel fan, and it's like the way things are going, I'm done.
well, you know, I don't really need anything written out in crayon for me to watch a movie. It's just, that's why, when you're talking about movies and you start piecing together stuff and you realize what you saw and what you think you saw are kind of two different things. And and I gotta say this, the problem that I think Star Wars fans are having right now is the way Ryan Johnson went about making TLJ. But we were talking about, can't remember what we were talking about. Um, uh, you know, it's too obvious. I mean, you're right though. He did say, "We remember we stole something precious from you."
Hmm. Hmm.
That's
So
such a big
that's
giveaway.
and that's what I'm saying. It was just out there. It was just thrown out there really quickly. It was just like boop, you know.
I gotta go watch that scene again. I'm gonna Jesus. You might as well, dear Star Wars fans. Should we put this up in you know crayon signs, carrying it out through the movie? What's actually going on, so you can actually understand it. I forgot. I didn't even. I That's something I missed. That was something I missed. Gee, I wonder what that precious thing was.
Hmm.
It wasn't the Falcon because those guys were involved with that.
They saw the Falcon. It was right there. It was right there. It was right in the docking bay, right over to his. What was it? Wait, Chewie was standing here,
Yeah,
and
and it was over.
yeah, it was.
It
It
was
was.
over
Yeah, right
to his
over his
right.
shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of going. So who was it? I mean, which one? How long did they have her? What did Han do? Did he? I mean, I still think he lost Falcon looking for her.
When he said that, I'm trying to remember the camera pan and his whole expression. Because after he said that, if I'm not mistaken, him and Chewie looked at each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I'm not mistaken, I could be, but I know after he said that, like he put his hand not on his blaster, but like near it, and he just looked at Chewie, and Chewie looked at him like, and then just Chewie, and they both looked at, and then the other guy said something, and then that's when he started negotiating and shit, and then Ray let these roly poly arm creatures go and shit.
The Rathars.
Yeah,
wrong fuse.
It's-
That was funny. That was funny. I mean, the talk about
you know, and I'm not gonna lie here. Look, TFA did a much better job than TLJ. Much
it
better.
did.
Okay, because it had a little bit of the Star Wars formula, just like Rogue One did. It had the mystery, it had the drama, it had, you know, the science behind the tech. This one,
Yeah.
you know, after TFA, it was just down here. It was like, you know, they just started,
Yeah.
they just went easy, you know.
Well,
It was like you're expecting a gourmet spaghetti and meatballs, and they said, here's a can of Chef Boyardee instead.
yeah. Well, when Johnson got too cute, got too cute. B, when you get when story group that wasn't allowed anywhere near TFA
Right.
to be part of it, that's where it started getting weird because you know I'm gonna say this straight out. There are people that have worked for Lucasfilm for a long time who aren't Star Wars fans.
Right.
Pablo Hidalgo, he tweets out pictures of Transformers. Maybe he and John should have, our friend John should have a conversation about Optimus Prime or something like that. Because I don't see Pablo Hidalgo caring about Star Wars, right? I don't see him. There's no passion there.
Yeah,
What it is,
exactly. I was just about to say that. If you're working on Star Wars, for Christ's sake, if you were working on Star Wars, whether you're creative, whatever, that should be your main priority in your career.
yeah,
That is,
you should be as giddy as a school kid about it all the time, like I would be. But you know, and it's just, I mean, when I think about the people that work for the story group or have anything to do with it, they don't have any experience. They're not passionate. They don't care. They've got agendas. Um, they you know, attack the fans when the fans are like, "What are you doing?"
yeah, and you know what?
Uh,
It's the same thing with the actors. The actors are not going to the school of the Juilliard's, you know, academy. You know, they're not traveling and trying. You know, they're not studying scholars of the art of their art. You know, they're just taking on roles and just thinking that, oh, I can do one. But because if you notice, all these new actors have the same formula in different movies. They have the same. They bring the same formula, and it's just, you know,
yeah, well, what I, Adam Driver did go to Juilliard
right,
right after the Marine Corps,
right, right.
and one of the funny things he said was he got there and they were in class and he was so intense he made people cry.
Did you see that The Dead Don't Die Yet with Bill Murray in him?
No,
You have to see it. He had range in that movie. I totally forgot that it was Adam Driver. I
yeah,
totally forgot it was him. He was good in that fucking movie.
I mean, I can't look at the guy, but you know, I like Bill Murray, so maybe I will. But let's see that. But you know, Daisy Ridley has gone to school for that. It's as much the writing's fault, the director's fault, as it is as the actor can only do so much. Hear the words, and they don't carry the cachet of Harrison Ford. I mean, even in The Empire Strikes Back, when he was screwing around changing lines because, like you said,
Right,
no, you can write it, but you sure as hell can't say it.
right,
To George Lucas, he was right.
right,
I mean, Ford was right about that,
right.
and which it drove George crazy. He drove him nuts, and I love it. I think it's the funniest thing.
I love the stories, man, from behind the scene and how they used to drive George Lucas fucking crazy. Because they used
Oh
to hate
yeah,
when they used to hate when they asked him a question on set, you know, like, okay, how do you want the scene done? And the only thing he'll say is more intensity,
yeah,
more intensity. And they're like, that's it? More intensity. Like Anthony Daniels. He wanted him to say, well, sir, and that's why he came out because he took like 5 takes and he kept getting frustrated. He goes, how do you want this done? He says, more intensity. And he just did it fast, and then he goes, that's it. That's it. As long as you give him intensity, that's the thing with George Lucas. He's
yeah,
calm, he's
yeah,
collective, but his
yeah.
fucking movies express exactly how he feels inside.
Oh well, my favorite thing was Carrie Fisher was mad about the whole "I love you, I know" thing.
Yeah.
She kept talking to Ford for like 2 days. She talked to him. He's like,
But it was a great
Dude,
iconic line. I
well,
know.
well, the whole thing was so funny because that whole scene is so tragic and sad and horrible, and the whole time she wanted to kill him for doing that. She was mad at Gary Kurtz, and she was mad at Irv Kirchner,
Yeah.
and you know, because she actually ghost wrote
Yeah.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Right, right.
She was a script doctor for it, and it's the funniest thing. And then you know, Lucas is like, you can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. You can't do you know.
It doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't work. It just
Yeah,
wouldn't work.
there it is, and it did. Sorry, George. I mean, when Steven Spielberg, after they lost Tom Selleck to play Indiana Jones, and Spielberg was going, well, Harrison does a really good job. He'd be a really no. He drives me nuts. No, guess he got the role because Spielberg finally broke him down, and it worked out.
Yeah, but you can tell that Lucas really had a profound love for Harrison Ford because
Oh, he does.
he wasn't supposed to. He didn't want to hire him because he was a senior actor. He was already out there. He didn't want to hire him, but since he was reading the scripts to him so well, and he said, "Wait a minute, he does fill in that Han Solo role, man," and he took him on. And of course he said, "Yeah, I'm taking it." Shit, yeah, because that's what he wanted. He wanted it. Harrison Ford really wanted it. He can say, I really didn't want it but you can tell he wanted it. He just started getting sick and tired of it. That right afterwards, when it became big, he said, the first thing he said was good. And he went just like this, good. Now I can,
finally
yeah.
get some money and, do what I want. I mean, what his paycheck was for the first movie? $10,000. It went up to 20 million.
Yeah.
I remember that. Highest paid actor in Hollywood at the time. And rumor has it he was paid 36 million for one movie, TFA, but I think it was probably two. And I think when they like to blame JJ for this, but when the scripts kept coming back, that he makes it into episode 8, and Kennedy had a shit fit because he was between him and Hamill, the new characters were just fading into the woodwork.
Yeah.
And it's like, write better characters, get actors with more chops. Maybe the movie should actually be about Han, Luke, and Leia, and that nobody's no one cares about.
Yeah, it's like pass the torch correctly. Don't have these fucking brats snatch it. Because that's exactly how I feel. I feel like they snatched the torch and said, it's our turn.
I accused, and this person I talked to didn't answer me back, so I know I'm right, of them taking the scene where Han was supposed to do the sacrificial thing and giving it to Haldo. They wrote him out of the script and gave that to Haldo. And that pisses me off because dying like a bitch at the hands of your own son is not the same as putting Leia on an escape pod with everybody else. Him doing that,
Yeah,
because you could see that happening, and everybody would be sobbing, which is what you want. You want to drag. We've all been on the journey with these two.
Yeah.
For decades. Yeah. That would have meant something. We don't know who the fuck Haldo is. None of us like her. In fact, I think half the audience cheered when she died.
Yeah.
I know I did. I was like, good, you bitch.
I mean, I didn't go see it in the theaters, but that's what I keep hearing. Everybody was like, yes. Like, everybody kept hearing sighs of, yes, yes, yes. I can't stand this bitch, yes.
Dang dong, the bitch is dead. I mean, but she was there to fill in the LGBTQ check this box.
Yeah.
This one, this one, this one, and this one.
Right. They're like, okay, let's see. Does Star Wars have diverse politics? Let's see. Okay, a lesbian in purple hair. Check.
Yeah.
Manhood taken, check.
Yeah.
Men under the boots of women who have no stature in Star Wars, check. I mean, it's disgusting.
Well, and they took Leia's stature away from her too. Um, you know, she instead of being this like figure that should have been called back to service, like Churchill was back in World War II. He was an MP, which is a member of Parliament, and basically causing all kinds of trouble for uh, uh, Prime Minister McDaniel and then Neville Chamberlain. And he finally was called back before the Battle of Britain,
Mm.
because, or during the Battle of Britain, I can't remember. But it had gotten so bad for Britain, they needed a lion. And there was no more British lion than Winston Churchill. And, I've been told, well, that was what she was kind of playing. It's like, no, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. I don't see the Republic calling her back to lead.
At all.
And when Churchill became prime minister, that's when Britain started kind of solidifying itself. During the Battle of Britain, when the Germans, all right, I'm going into history, guys, sorry, but the Germans targeted British airfields. British fighter pilots were finite. They didn't have a lot of trained guys. The Germans then decide, for whatever stupid, dumb reason, to start attacking London and the cities. And that's when the Germans lost the Battle of Britain. Had they kept attacking the airfields, kept attacking the fighters on the ground, kept attacking, taking the war to the Royal Air Force, the Germans might have won the war in Europe. But they made the mistake. Goering's hubris, Hitler being a moron, thanks be to God. But, it was almost like God said, okay, here's your message. There's Churchill. And now we're going to let the enemy's hubris ruin it. And that's what they did. And that's what we didn't get to see with Leia. Leia was the one saying, this new order is the Empire all over again. And we have to build up. We have to do this. We have to do this. We have to do this. And no one wanted to do it, which is why what happened happened. We don't get that in the movies. It's one of the big bitches I have about it. Yeah. Rian Johnson couldn't be expected to write something like that. And, that was one of the problems is people who haven't read the books, and why should you read a book just to understand a movie? Don't realize that was going on, and we don't get to see her brought back, to lead the Republic, and it's just whatever, guys, whatever. So now we got, the new comic books coming out, and the one about Snoke contradicts TFA.
I heard it sucked.
Well, yeah, I mean, Maze, if Maze is listening, Maze and I talked about it yesterday. And basically, Snoke takes Kylo Ren to Dagobah. It's basically a repeat of Yoda and Luke. They go to the Force Tree. Snoke basically kind of repeats the same thing to Kylo Ren.
Oh shit! Wait, I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
Hey, you know what? If I spoil this, I really don't give a shit. Because the story group chose this, so the story group can kiss my ass.
Right.
Anyway, they go to the Force Tree, and Snoke repeats basically verbatim what Yoda said to Luke, to Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren goes in there, is immediately confronted with vision of Luke, which he quote unquote kills. And then he's met up with his parents, saying, "We love you, come back. You're loved," and all this. And instead of killing them, which is what Snoke expected him to do, he destroys the Force Tree. Which is basically like, and then he says at the end, he goes, we have to kill the past. We have to kill the past. And Snoke says, I was going to bring other apprentices to this. Here's a question. And I ask you a question, because now we're going to get into who Snoke really is.
Yes, yes. Let's
Why
get it.
would somebody who's finite say something like that? Because you'd be taking apprentices over millennia to that tree, wouldn't you? Okay. In TFA, Snoke has a ring. It is a black obsidian ring from rock from Mustafar.
Right.
It's shaped like a diamond and the top is broken. Snoke says something very similar to another character. We are basically something about destroying the Jedi and the Sith. This is where Kylo Ren gets killed the past shit from. Kylo Ren's eyes aren't red.
Mm.
Let's go into The Rise of Skywalker. Rey, Dark Rey, is standing in a very familiar place. Look around her. Don't look at her yet. Look around her. There's a picture of Ahsoka standing in the exact same place. Rey is carrying a very ancient Sith weapon. But her eyes aren't red, and when you look at her closely, she doesn't look like Rey. Now, go to Clone Wars and the Mortis trilogy.
Okay.
The son can change into anything he wants.
Ah.
Ahsoka is confronted by her older self, that's the son. She's also confronted by a little animal when she's captured by the son, who bites her and then turns into the son. Shmi
Ah.
Skywalker visits Anakin, and it turns out to be the son. In fact, the father says that was likely my son. Anakin is confronted by himself, and that turns into the son. What I think the bad guy is the son of Mortis.
Mm.
And I think Snoke was either his projection, or he's a body he possessed, or something like that.
Mm.
And what I think is, here's what I've heard. Here's what is out there. And I do believe this.
Holy
Because,
shit.
what?
No, 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 no. You just pieced something together, but I think you're just going to solidify. Go ahead, get, get.
So, what happens, I think, the Resistance gets a hold of a dagger. And I'm going to assume it's the Black Dagger of Mortis. If you watch the Mortis trilogy at the end, the son grabs the dagger from the daughter's body
Right,
after he accidentally kills her trying to kill his father.
right.
And he takes it. The father sees it, pulls it towards him, holds it up, and then kills himself. The son gets all the power that he has from the father. Father killing himself sets the son of his strength. Son turns and is going, "How could you do this? You're so selfish." Blah blah blah. Why? Why? Anakin comes up behind him and shivs him in the back with Skywalker lightsaber.
Right.
The key to the movies and the key to the story is Anakin's lightsaber.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it goes to Rey. You've got her and Kylo Ren both have an equal claim to the crystal, fighting over it like two children.
Mm. Let's talk Snoke's injuries for a minute and take it back to the dagger, right? And take it back to the on when Anakin killed, the
Yeah.
the son. You gotta think about this now. These injuries, right? How did he die again? The son? How did the son die again? Where Anakin just
in the
impaling,
back.
right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How was the father killed?
He killed himself. He went like that with it.
Okay. Now, if we look at Snoke, right? It's like, yeah, a slice at his face. He's missing some. That looks like he was sort of resurrected in a rigor mortis stage.
Yeah. There's a video somewhere on YouTube where someone tried to basically compare the Snoke to the father,
Right.
but Snoke is dark side, so he can't be. But it was very interesting. There's a lot out there on YouTube saying that Snoke is connected to Mortis, and I gotta say, the ring, even when he's wearing the gold, when you go into Rebels and you're looking at the tapestry, temple tapestry, You've got the father in the middle, the son at his left, the daughter on the right, and their hands are all in different ways. The daughter's hand is like this.
Mm.
All right, that's friendship. The father's hand is like this. That means
I can't see it. I can't.
like this. That means wisdom. The son's hand is clenched, and that means protection, aggression. I can't remember, but it goes with each of those entities, right? And there's a tablet on the floor that they bring with them so they can read it. What's his face? Oh God. Oh, the young Jedi. Shisa. Can't remember his name. He opens up the temple by using the Force and touching the daughter's hand. The wolves leave the thing and go and form the portal.
Mm.
Ezra jumps through it and ends up in the world between worlds.
Mm.
This is where he confronts Ahsoka and pulls her away from Vader. And this is where you find out again that you can't change the past, because he wants to go and save Kanan. And Ahsoka says, if you save him, you'll all end up dead.
Yep.
He sacrificed himself so you guys could escape.
Yep.
And that's again, so what, you're not going to have time travel. Which is when you hear JJ talk about the Force Flash, and they did mention World Between Worlds. It's like, duh. So I think the Black Dagger, Mortis, Kyle Ron wants it. There's something else at the Death Star, and I think it's either a holocron of the Emperor or something like that. Because, guys, the Emperor is a red herring. All right. She's not a Palpatine. She's not Qui-Gon Jinn's granddaughter.
Obi-Wan's, yeah.
You know, I mean, she's Han and Leia's daughter. And I know a lot of people don't want to believe it because they can't really piece it together. But when you start piecing everything together, from her behavior towards BB-8 after she rescues him, leave me alone, no. And then she says, I'll take you into town, and then I'm leaving you.
Yeah.
In the morning. Okay. We got that. We've got that, I think it was Conjure Club guys saying, remember, we stole something precious from you, to Han.
Mm.
Okay. We've got her relationship with Han. You guys got to remember, Han Solo didn't like Luke right away. In fact, he didn't like him at all.
Right.
Thought he was just a little farm boy. Obi-Wan, whatever. Han doesn't trust anybody. There's a reason why, too. In his life, you don't trust anybody ever since he was a little kid.
Even when he met up with Lando Calrissian again, like when Lando hugged him,
yeah.
he's sort of like, okay, yeah, like, all right.
Yeah, what's this? What's this about? You know?
Yeah.
You know, so, but he has this rapport with Rey. Chewie just run around hugging and liking human beings all the time. No. Wookiees don't like people mostly.
Right.
Likes Rey. You know? Chewie didn't really have anything to do with Luke either, until, you know, the kid proved his worth.
Yeah.
No. So there's a lot there, and, you know, it just goes on and on and on. Now I know a lot of people think I'm talking on my ass. You got to learn how to watch movies again. Okay.
Right.
I mean, you know, Jay and I have been sitting here putting all this together, and when he brought up, remember, we stole something precious from you, I was like,
ding.
you know, because I don't remember him saying that, so I'm gonna have to go back and grab that, and if I have to, I'm gonna use it in the video.
Mm. Well, hey, that's hey, a lot of people are with that shit. If I don't see it, I don't believe it. Okay, there you go.
Well, yeah, and then they don't. But see, I think a lot of people are really stuck with Rey, Mary, Sue, and I get that because her character has been written so badly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I blame JJ partly for it. I blame RJ a lot for that. I blame him for not writing the story that needed to be written and following what the internet told him to. and you can't do it that way. Um, I think Daisy deserves a better character. I mean, when she killed Raylo, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that was great. She just
Wasn't it?
straight like that was a great headshot. She's like,
She said,
Raylo, boom.
"Yep, yep," and then she did it again
Oh,
at
the double tap.
D23 when when he said something about Raylo, and she said, "Oh, they'll love it. They'll get to see Adam."
And then, especially when she says, "Oh no, 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 I'm not into that. No, I don't follow that. That would be
Yeah,
gross. That would be gross."
that was not only did I say you get to see Adam, but there's no Raylo,
Yeah.
and no, I don't do that. It's not going to happen.
And then she spoke on the psychopaths that have been harassing her, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
she let yeah.
yeah, and it's like you guys got to let it go. You really got to let it go. I mean, I really don't like what they've done to him,
Mm.
Adam Driver. Uh, he's not my favorite actor, but the guy deserves a life. He's a retired Marine, so I kind of take special uh, umbrage with how he's been treated because, he is an enlisted guy. My husband was colonel. I would have probably been shepherding his wife as, the senior uh, 06's wife through all the stuff because there's family stuff you have to do. And oh God, I was not always happy to do it either. But I did it. And, you mess with a Marine, you mess with their family. That pisses me off. All right. They're really just, I mean, I take umbrage at that. All right. Uh, they're, those guys have a job to do. And when they're gone, the senior wives have to kind of protect the brood as it is. And, if shit was like this going on with one of my husband's Marines, I'd be really ticked off. I'd be really ticked off because, you know, first off, you don't go up to the wife saying, leave your husband. Wish that
Ever.
they'd done that. You don't post stuff about wishing their baby would die.
That's crazy.
The wife.
That is. Oh man.
You don't go to a goddamn Broadway play, jump on the stage screaming Kylo. And that happened. Girl got arrested.
The dude is out of character. He's working. He's oh my god. What's a Broadway screaming Kylo?
Yeah, yeah. You don't go to the play and sit in the audience and ruin it for the
Oh
audience
shit.
by doing the same shit. You don't attack Daisy Ridley's really gorgeous boyfriend. He is really fiance. He's hot. That guy's hot. You don't do that. And then you don't bully people off of Twitter or dox them because they're calling you out for your shit.
Yeah, that's
No.
ridiculous.
I mean, I gotta say this, Raylos, if you're listening, you guys got an account suspended for 2 days or for 24 hours that knows infinitely more about the Rise of Skywalker than you do. And this person was really pissed because he was telling you all you're going to not be happy. All right. And I was like, this is going to be hilarious. It is going to be hilarious. I mean, JJ can't do that. He can't do the Raylo thing. First off, he basically called Kyle Ron a Nazi, a neo-Nazi. Second of all, it's a rumor I heard that his daughter was abused.
Mm.
So why would he, and both Daisy and Adam obviously hate it. I don't get it. I just, where do these people come from?
They're weird. They come from the depths of stupidity, man. Like it's just gross on how they try to terrorize people and try to
Yeah,
manipulate things just to get their way. And you're
yeah,
not gonna see it because suppose the storyline is the Jaina and Skywalker and her brother, where this is where they put it together. Then you guys are gonna the Raylos are gonna look gross. They're gonna look like a bunch of taboo having fucking damn man, what's that word is at the tip of my tongue? Incest loving motherfuckers, because you know if that comes to fruition, you guys are gonna look gross, each and every one of you.
Yeah, well they don't, and the worst ones are like solo ship incest. And you know what it is? You know what it is? It's just a bunch of mentally ill females who project themselves into the role because they're obsessed with Adam Driver. Daisy knows that. She knows it's his fans, and you know perfectly well he feels horrible for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're hurting her, they're hurting the production, they're driving other fans away, they're making it difficult for him to enjoy something he probably wanted to be part of since he was a little kid.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And that's, to me, is bullshit. And what I love about it is when you confront them with that, they get incensed and so goddamn defensive. You know, you can't do that anymore. I mean, you know, didn't anybody ever bitch slap you when you were a kid when you were baby?
Right? Like,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Slap some sense into your fucking.
you know, I mean, and what's really gross is that they're women my age. Some women in their 50s. I mean, it's like, God, you know.
They just don't want to let go. I mean, that's, you know.
I think part of it is a group of females who saw 50 Shades come on board.
Yeah.
And then Twilight.
The Sex and the City crew, you know, shit like that, you know.
I'm part of the Sex and the City crew. We wouldn't.
She said I'm part.
No, my favorite characters, two of my favorite characters in comedy are Samantha Jones and Carrie Bradshaw. Some of the shit that happened was hysterical. I mean, you know, I mean, Samantha, whatever came into her head came out of her mouth. And you'd be looking at her going,
yeah, she was a wild bitch. She was fucking crazy.
Yeah. And then, you know, Carrie with her just looking for somebody to, you know.
Yeah. What's up? Maze is with us. What's going on, Maze?
Maze. Hey, Maze.
What's up, Maze? You want to jump on? If you're able to, let us know, man. Yeah, you know, I personally, man, I see it like this. Like the fandom, you know, of one person, like what's happening with Adam Driver's fandom, like, you know, they're all not pure. Even the good guys, you know, even they, you know, that you got your normal people within the fandom, then you've got your in between normal and fucking psychotic, then you've got the psychotics, then you've got the extreme psychotic. Like, yeah, and what's happening is they've made beyond the extreme psychotic now there's another level, and that's the level where they're wishing death upon children of their actors. Although, I mean, this is crazy.
The bunny boilers. I call them the bunny boilers.
The bunny boilers.
You know, I mean, it's Alex Forrest and, oh God, who was the character that Kathy Bates played in Misery? That one. I'm your biggest fan. It's like, Adam, run fast and run hard. He's the only actor I've ever seen walking out of a play, walking out the stage door.
Yeah.
That needed two bodyguards because of them. You know, and it's like, guys, it's time to grow up and you know, like, be held accountable. You know?
Yeah.
It really, really is. I mean, you know, I mean, I can't anymore. I just kind of go, what do you do? You know, and you know, you're not supposed to. They act like you ruin their safe space if you say, but they're brother and sister. It's like, yes, they are brother and sister. It's obvious. It's been obvious from 1,000 yards away. I don't care what the rumors are. Especially since one of the rumors that Jason Ward put out was the same one about Han and being her father that I put out.
Right.
So, hey, Maze, what's up?
What's going on, Maze? Welcome.
Hey.
Tommy Temper, what's going on, Temper?
And I'll ruin their goddamn safe space. I'm in a mood today.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey,
I do
man,
too.
me and Steph just pieced together a big major part of this puzzle, and we're going to review it after we get off. Now, check this out, man. Remember the part in the last in the Force Awakens, within that crater ship that Han Solo had the Millennium Falcon in, and Rey and Finn were under it and shit when the pirates and the smugglers came in for
Right.
Han Solo. Now remember
Mhm.
when the other guy had said, "Remember, Solo, we've taken something precious from you before." Remember that? And they weren't talking about they weren't talking
Mm.
about, remember that?
Yeah, that's
Ah.
that's something to go back and analyze. I hadn't thought about that one yet.
All right, I'm getting a soda, so don't mind me. I need a drink.
I like to say
Yeah.
what's up to everybody in the chat. I'm sorry. What's up to Tommy Temper? You know, I also like to say hello to Hybrid 95, of course, man. Peace to you guys. Happy Friday as well.
And I don't want to derail the chat. I just want to briefly say rest in peace to Mr. Eddie Money. It just was announced that he died.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Oh man. Rest
Yeah,
in peace.
he was 70.
Wow.
He had cancer, right?
He dealt with it on and off, I think.
Oh man. Great
Well,
American singer, songwriter. Damn man. Rest in peace, Mr. Money.
I saw you in the concert.
I saw him live. He's part of the Volunteers of 911 show that they did after 9/11 happened.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
damn.
He was
Just
at
just 100% showman through and
yeah.
through.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
He was at Riverfest in La Crosse doing a concert, and we had fun. That was a good time. It was really a good time. No, but we were analyzing the stuff from TFA, and I don't. It's really funny. I didn't remember that,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go back and watch it because then there's another clue. I'm gonna bring it up to that friend of mine, Maze,
Mhm.
that guy that basically kind of knows what he's talking about, and he likes that kind of troll some of the fandom menace.
Right.
And they kind of deserve it too sometimes, I think. But he also trolls Raylos. I can make an announcement. If you're a TLJ fan and you hate Raylo, I can talk to you. Okay. We'll probably be friends.
That would be my cousin. You know, my TLJ loving cousin. He's actually a conservative, and
Yeah.
Steph and I were talking about this the other day. You don't have to be any political alignment to like TLJ,
You know?
but the other day he ran something by me that I hadn't actually thought of before, and even after he ran it by me, I was like, "Yeah, that's really lame, though."
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, what it was you remember the length of time between Rey leaving Octu and arriving at Crate. He said during that time, that's when she read the Jedi texts and learned how to lift those boulders. And I said, it's still stupid. It is plausible, but it's still stupid.
Yeah, you read the Jedi texts.
Yeah.
Would she even know how to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's not enough time. Even if they were in the Falcon for 3 weeks getting to Crate, it's still not. Luke was with Yoda what 6-7 weeks, I think. It's not official, but it's been reliably estimated. Luke was with Yoda for 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, doesn't time slow down on Dagobah?
Yeah.
I mean, on there are, like we were talking about the Force Nexuses. Dagobah is one, and didn't it seem longer for him to beat it than it actually was? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
If Dagobah was one, it's not anymore.
Right?
No,
They blew that shit up.
Oh yeah.
They basically, Kyle Ron. Boy, what a
Kylo Ren went in the cave and force farted it.
Yo.
It exploded.
Hey Maze, check it out. I want you to meet somebody. Meet Halle Berry.
Nice. What brand is that?
It's a Washburn.
Nice.
Meet Halle Berry.
Washburns are very nice, very affordable.
Oh yeah.
Very easy to play.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nice guitar.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a distortion pedal now, and I can't. I'm gonna have to order one, man. I just don't want to use eBay too much, man, because of the last mishap that I had and shit. So I'm trying
Dude,
to, yeah.
go on Amazon and look for a brand called Behringer, Behringer. They're
All
this
right.
German company that makes pedals at these ridiculous low prices, and they're as good as the brand names. The only thing about them is they're not made of like reliable metal and shit that you can take on the road. But I'm not
Yeah.
on the road.
No, me neither. I just like to play,
They're just made of real thin plastic, but they like use the internal components and shit of the popular models. And they've got several
You know what
distortion
I'll
pedals.
do? You know what I'll do? I'll fabricate a steel case for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do
Again,
that.
it's Behringer, and the prices range from $24 to $35 on average.
Oh,
Brand,
wow.
brand new
Oh.
pedals. Shit, yeah, I bought like 4 of them already.
Nice.
All right. You hear that, Haley? I'm gonna get you some shoes. Dad is gonna get you some shoes, Haley. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, so anyway, what else were we talking about?
Well, Bob Igor, he basically gets it now that the G damn amusement park should have been based off of the original trilogy. Duh.
Duh. Yeah, I mean, who wants to go to a place where it's generic, a planet no one's gone to, no one knows about? I mean, but
Some-
with that,
Something to really keep in mind too. You guys remember an amusement park chain called Sesame Place?
Yes.
That shit was fun as hell, actually. But it's proof that you can make a theme park based on a major intellectual property, and it can still fail.
Hmm.
So again, just steps not taken with Star Wars.
yeah. Well, that map. You guys remember Lucas Land? That map that came out that we all saw.
Yeah.
That would have been absolutely fucking awesome. That would have been, I would go and spend 3 days wandering through there, and you could have your your soak with on Tatooine, talking to the Trodarians, trying to maybe buy something from an actual Trodarian as a so-called junk shop. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
That would
That'd
be
be
fucking
cool.
awesome, man.
And have him cuss at you.
Yeah.
What? You're not gonna give me no effing credits.
No credits. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Annie, hello, little Annie. Long time no see. Wait a minute. You tell me you Jedi master now? That was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was. That was great. Going to the actual Mos Eisley Cantina.
Oh man, imagine that with the music coming in.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Then a real fight breaks out in front of you with actors and shit.
Yeah.
Where you actually see Obi-Wan chop off his arm, like that actual scene right there. And what'd be good is, remember when John mentioned scene 38 right in front of you?
Yeah.
That would have been awesome, man. That
Yeah. What about a cosplayer playing Han shooting Greedo? That would be so freaking cool.
that would have been awesome, man.
I mean, then you go from there to the Death Star trench run ride.
That would have been fucking crazy.
Maybe
You got
or do this virtual reality thing where you like got to go deactivate the damn tractor beam yourself, and you're like crap. This does look like a bottomless pit, man. I ain't going in there, man. You go.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Or have a laser tag arena with stormtroopers versus the runaway rebels. You know what I mean? Like that would have been on a Death Star, and the arena looks like the Death Star hallways and shit. Something fun.
And you fall into the trash compactor.
Oh, that'll be yeah. Like when you're tagged out or whatever, you got to jump into the compactor. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, and it's like that would be. I mean, and then you get to see a show where you see Vader and Obi-Wan fight, and then there's another kind of section where it's like Death Star 2, in the Emperor's throne room, and then he actually comes out and talks to you.
Yeah, and then
This is-
imagine walking into the Endor forest, and all of a sudden you've got a nice virtual reality screen set up by real, and all of a sudden a speeder bike just like you're like, oh shit, you know, and then all of a sudden you're walking through, and they have these screens set up so beautifully that as you're walking, you know, a fan blows by, you know, and it starts picking up speed because when you look behind you, you got a biker scout coming up on you. You know, that would have been crazy, man.
The planet,
Oh, yeah.
the planet Hoth. You're entering Echo Base, and there's a nice little sign that says "No snowflakes allowed."
Yeah, bro, that would have been awesome.
And no, but seriously, like I said yesterday, Lucas was about innovation and tech with Star Wars, and displaying that tech proudly, and you know, just developing shit like that on the side. You know, you just like you said, you could walk into Endor, you hear this crash behind you, you look behind you and up, and there's a damn Imperial Walker towering over your ass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, that, and Vader's castle in Mustafar.
Yeah. Oh man, that would have been crazy. Wow. All the molten lava around. Oh man, that would be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, go there and, how about dinner? How about Cloud City dinner with Vader?
Oh man.
You walk in and start shooting.
We would be happy if you would join us. Oh, that would have been crazy, man. Yeah, and as soon as he goes like this, and he just the door behind you closes, shh, and you're like, oh shit. He's
And
like,
then you can reenact the scene in Robot Chicken where Han and Boba Fett are flipping each other off across the table.
that would be crazy. You're like that, and Boba Fett's just looking at you like, he's just turning his head sideways, and you're just like, because you know he can't do nothing to you. You're like,
Yeah.
What was it I was saying yesterday about like a Universal Studios type of setup where you go in, two of your friends dress up as Jedi, two of them as stormtroopers, and you just basically you get behind the camera and you film this scene. You get to touch it up at the end with the lightsaber colors that you want and all this crap.
oh man, yeah, like a virtual reality reenactments. You know,
Yeah,
of your favorite scene. That would be awesome.
Like I said, they've already done this shit with Star Trek, where you go on the bridge and make do your own little story, but you take the video home with you.
That'd be great, man.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would do that in a heartbeat. I mean, I would.
Oh man, I can see it now. I have a purple saber, and the first scene would be like this. I have the saber in my hand. I'll be like, "Hey, Windu, even though you fell out the window, thanks a lot, motherfucker." That would be the first scene right there.
Oh my God, Mace Window.
Mace Window.
Yeah.
How come nobody's thought of that yet? Sorry.
That's a good one though. That's a Mace Window.
Yeah, but any of that stuff is better than going into some dumbass room and making a cheap lightsaber.
Dude, that shit is fucking metal. It's like a metal pipe. It's like one of them reject pipes that a plumber cuts in order to, make the fabricated actual pipe. That's like the endings of it. That's all that shit is, all metal, man. It's fucking heavy as fuck. You can't even play with it in the damn. You can't play with it in the park. They won't let you activate it.
And it's that grainy metal shit that's breakable.
Yeah.
And bendable. It's oversized. It's
nothing like an Ultra Saber.
No.
Nothing like it. Craig got me this one, but there's nothing like an Ultra Saber, man, where you can fix it up. You can put your own you can choose your own blade. You can put your here is a speaker, right? That's a speaker there. So when you put the soundboard in it, and when it activates, like I got on my Amber Saber, you know what I mean? And it's like these are metal. And they're meant to clash, and they light up when they clash. They make the clashing sound. Who the hell gonna go to Disney and hand the kid a 10-pound piece of metal? These kids could fucking kill themselves at home with this shit.
Yeah.
Oh look, I got the force. He throws it and shit, and pink. All of a sudden, you got a kid in comatose state.
There's a very old video out there of a kid getting a real lightsaber for Christmas. He starts swinging it around, and Grandma gets cut in half.
That was funny.
Her top half just kind of falls on the floor.
That was hilarious. I love that shit. That shit was crazy.
Oops.
There was one also that this guy, he just, he go, oh, you got me, goddamn it, thanks, dude, and he activates and the lightsaber just pierces his friend's fucking brain and shit. That was crazy. Yeah, man, they got a lot of those parodies out there, man.
You guys ever see the picture of Mark Hamill when he's looking at the lightsaber for the first time, and he's holding it up like that?
Yeah.
Don't turn it on.
He's like, dude, just don't. The greatest Star Wars commercial ever made by a third party, for me, and when I saw it, it brought a tear to my eye because I was like, that is so fucking great, man. Because it captures imagination, it captures our imagination, and it's the Ford commercial with the little boy dressed as Darth Vader, and he's trying to use the Force powers, and then like his father's back there behind the curtain, and he just turns the car on right at the same cue when the kid puts it, and he looks at his hand, and he's like, and then he looks behind him, and his father's like, you know, like he cheers him on, like, oh, you used the Force, dude, all right. That was the greatest because you know, that brought a tear to my eye, and every time that commercial comes on by Christmas time, I'm there like, oh man, this is the greatest 30 seconds ever.
The one that I liked was the one from Germany, which it's a department store put it out. It's a little boy who's got a crush on the little girl across the street, and it goes. They see each other at the store, and she kind of looks at him, and he's like all shy and everything. And she's building a snowman, and has to go back inside. Next morning, she wakes up, and she's got R2-D2 and C-3PO and snow. He put them all together, and his father. They're watching The Empire Strikes Back, and the scene where Han and Leia kiss. His father kind of puts his hand over his eyes.
Yeah.
Because the dad's kind of looking at him, and he knows that he likes the little girl.
Yeah.
And he sees the little boy trying to reenact what he wants to say to her. Like, and then the boy's up in the attic, and he's playing with his toys, and he's got 6-inch Solo with Leia, and Han's got his hand pointed at something, and it's the stormtrooper outfit.
Mm.
The kid walks over to the store, puts it on, walks over with an invitation for the little girl, hands it to her father, and marches back.
Mm.
So that night, Christmas Eve night, they're having dinner, and the door bell rings. The little boy's sitting there at dinner, and father goes to answer it, and then he says, "You need to come out here." Little girl's dressed up like Leia, and her dog's got Chewie's bandolier on.
Oh, cool.
It's just,
That's cool.
If the kid had been wearing a black vest with a white shirt, that would have been absolutely fucking awesome. I mean, but it's still cute as shit. It makes me cry and cry and cry.
That's cool. That's a cool.
It was, so that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
That and the kid is Darth Vader. That was those are my favorites because those kind of hit you in the feels. And I don't see this new trilogy having anything that will ever do that for anybody because they've made it impossible for kids to like it because the parents don't like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
John has a perfect story, where he took his son to see The Last Jedi, and his son looked at him and said, "Dad, I don't want you to be upset about what I'm about to say, but I didn't like The Last Jedi at all." And John turned to his son and told him, "Don't worry about it, son. I didn't either." You know what I mean? So when
you can't do that. And the big, Ryan Johnson saying, people like this movie as much as Empire 20 years. No, we won't.
Right.
Empire was the tightest script of any Star Wars movie ever made. It had probably the best director. Irvin Kershner had the best writing, Lee Brackett, before she passed away. Larry Kasdan was at the top of his game. Carrie Fisher ghostwriting and script doctoring it. The cast, of course, and George Lucas overseeing everything like the master that he is.
Yep. It's like Empire Strikes Back is that buckled stitch that pulls everything together. And if you tried to add on to that buckled stitch, it just wasn't going to go into that cloth. It was just going to be an extra piece of shit, which is what's happening now.
Well, if The Rise of Skywalker is 3.5 hours long, perfectly well we're getting 2 movies. We're going to get 2 movies. All right.
I still think that might happen.
Will there be an intermission? Remember the old school days? Like I remember when I saw Scarface, they gave you like a 5-minute intermission because it was such a long movie.
Amadeus, Gandhi, all those movies had intermissions.
Yeah, and I think that there might be, but I was telling Jay, I think, because we were talking about who the bad guy is, and Maze and I have talked about this. We don't have to go over it. I think I just thought about this. I think Ray, at the end of TLJ, knows more than what we've been told, just by the way she kind of had that sneer on her face when she slammed the door on Ren's face and cut him off. I think that she might actually kind of have a clue who she is. And through the first part of the movie, we're going to get a sense of that, because it has to be built up to a drama where she's being tempted to the dark side the whole time by something. And that whole dark side vision of her just screams Mortis and the sun. And I think that she is going to be struggling the whole time because, she's pissed off. She has to be angry. There has to be a certain amount of hatred going on in her because of what Kyle Ron did.
Well, it wouldn't kill these writers to have her show weakness or, some kind of vulnerability at least once.
Yeah, and I really think that I think it's going to happen through the whole movie, and then because that if we're going to be talking about the Skywalker saga, every protagonist has had to walk that line.
Yeah,
Anakin fell, Luke did. There you go.
Even Anakin, which. My favorite description of Anakin actually comes from a really well written fan fiction. If I could point you to it, I would. But the description of Anakin was somebody looking back on him during the Academy days, and saying the Force loved him. The Force really loved him. Even despite that fact, Anakin still he was a pretty emotional, gross fuck up. I mean,
he was a mess.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
Luke, if you really think about it, he has Padme's pragmatism. That's what saved him.
Yeah.
If he had his father's personality, he would have just repeated the footsteps.
Yeah, which, we were talking about that and the EU story and why Lucas didn't like it, because Anakin is not a good role model for a Jedi.
Right.
Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Yoda, Mace Windu, you could put a whole host of Jedis out there. And, it's very interesting to me how the EU, because I really think there's a group of people who are kind of upset that Luke didn't have a romantic attachment. So that's where the Smart Jade stuff came from. And it kind of seems to me like they pulled it out of their asses.
Yeah.
And then they had to kill her off because, and if Mara Jade had been an assassin for the Emperor and he helps her out, and that's as far as it went, and she kind of comes and goes, that's one thing. But
yeah, like what's his name? Kyle Katarn, he kind of came and went to the Academy when he felt like he needed something.
Yeah. And that, that would have made sense with her, but because it doesn't make sense with Luke. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me, but I don't care, because Luke is bigger than that. He learned from the mistakes of his father. All right. And instead of going, well, Jedis can have attachments, you can't just arbitrarily say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The TLJ defenders also, and I'm sorry, Steph, for retreading something we just discussed. The TLJ defenders love to say, well, Luke touched the dark side for a minute in Return of the Jedi. I'm like, yeah, he did that. The reason Lucas had him do that was to give him a moment where he defeated the potential for evil within himself.
Yeah.
That's all that was for. And you know, he probably came out of that a lot stronger and being able to show other people how to do it.
Yeah.
It's like you pissed off, well, calm down. It's going to be all right.
Well, you know, and it's really funny that scene was kind of repeated in TFA when Shithead is saying, you know, you need a teacher, and Ray's sitting there and she's closing her eyes, and you can kind of see her thinking, might not be a bad gig, and then she says, you know, basically looks at him like fuck you, and then launches at him. You know, when I see that, I see a bit of her parentage coming out.
Yeah.
If you remember in the EU, in the Solo trilogy, I've got this as reference right now. I'm using it. When Han is confronted with those priests that can make that sound that would make people addicted, and he's like, "Really? Wow, really?" You know, he's not, you know, not impressed. There's a very strong mind there, and when I look at Ray, I kind of see that, you know, but I really do think that she needs to have that moment of I think the heated anger, of the emotional, you know, look what you did to me thing, look what you did to our family kind of thing.
Yeah.
And because remember in Return of the Jedi, Vader said to Luke, well, you won't turn, your sister will. And Luke went, you know, and you know, that really pissed Luke off. And that's where he started walking the fine line between the dark side and the light. And Ray having to confront the fact that she had just rediscovered her father and everything, her parents, who she is, to realize it was her brother that tore that all apart in front of her face. That would be kind of difficult to go, oh, it's okay, Snooky. It's okay. You're forgiven.
The thing that gets me is how in the highest fuck did Kylo Ren survive Chewie's bowcaster blow to the goddamn pelvic area? How? And then you survive a freaking lightsaber slash from the light from the Skywalker blade itself.
Did you ever see that little cartoon that somebody did about that?
No.
Where Chewie's remembering Kylo as a little kid, and you know he's Han's and Leia's kid, and you know remembering him grow up and all that. And in the moment of remembering that, his target sight and his bowcaster goes from Kylo's head to his gut. So he chooses not to blow his head off in that moment. And instead, he gets him in the. I guess Kylo was bleeding in the next scene, and he was like beating on himself for some, I don't know, some stupid emo "I love pain" type of thing.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of myself.
Yeah, trying to, you know, somebody will say he's trying to heal himself with the Force. You know, we were talking about all that, and you know, I get when we're done here, I'm going to turn on that part of the Force Awakens and see if I can find it on YouTube first. If I can, I'll watch it on TV. Just get to that part because I want to hear that, because I'm going to cut that down and put it in a video. Because you know, it's going to be. I have a feeling the person I've been talking to knows a lot more about what's going on than we think he does. You know, I brought up the Mandalorians thing, and he said, we're going to think it's Rey.
Right.
Okay. I still think it might be, but, you know, I don't, but when Jay brought that up about, remember we stole somebody else that was precious to you? When he brought that up, it made me go. Because again, remember, in the book, novel TFA, she's in that green forest, and in the vision that she had, and she hears a man say to her, wait right here, sweetheart, I'll be right back. The only person that says that is Han Solo.
Yep.
And that was after before they landed in Takodana, where she looked around and said, "I've never seen any place so green." And Han just looked at him.
I have no doubt Abrams set it up that way. At least that's what he meant for it to be. I don't know how it would have continued into the second movie, but I really would have loved Mark Hamill's idea for the end of TFA, where the saber flies out of the snow, passes Kylo's face, and Luke catches it and opens a can of whoop ass on him.
Yeah. I think that would have been. Yeah.
The audience would have lost its fucking mind.
Yeah. Or
TFA would have made $2 billion.
Oh, it did make $2 billion.
Did it? I thought it barely. I thought it. No.
No, it made about 2.3. I think.
In the box office?
Yeah.
I remember it was in the theaters like till the last possible second before digital release. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Do you remember when Avengers Endgame made all that money? And then they Endgame. Not Endgame, but oh God, the one last year that came out. And they showed Rey handing the saber to Iron Man.
Yeah.
That was after that movie passed TFA for making the most money.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was
Iron Man 3? No.
Yeah. No, not Iron Man 3. It was last year's Avengers.
It was a Civil War, right? Civil War or Endgame?
Avengers.
No. You got Civil War, Infinity War.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it made a lot of money, and it grossed a lot of money, and it net a lot of money.
It was a good cliffhanger for the Marvel series, probably the best.
Yeah. Well, So yeah, I mean, TFA, like Ethan Van Sciver likes to say, if they had Ford in The Last Jedi, they would have made $2 billion just because people love to see him as Han Solo. And I think that he ended up, they ended up giving the way that Han was going to go to Holdo because Kathy Kennedy was, her vajayjay was all wound up because the original characters were taking too much time away from the Precious that no one likes. No one likes the Precious. I don't like the Precious.
There went my appetite talking about Kathleen Kennedy's vagina.
Oh man.
No, seriously though. I mean, that's why. But I wouldn't doubt that was what they thought he was going to do. And, what happened was something different because Kennedy couldn't deal with it. And Disney did not want to spend the money for the OT characters.
Well, I will tell you the only thing that's got me genuinely interested this time is the fact that George Lucas is involved with the writing of the outline of the story.
Oh
yeah.
I mean, it's George Lucas. I guess I want to know what happens at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for Showbox to carry it. I'm not gonna contribute. I'm not giving them any money. Or I'm gonna at least wait for the first review from a credible, person. Like Steph. Or you guys. Any one of you guys. If you go see it and you're like, yo, this shit, they fixed it, then I will contribute. Thanks.
If here's the deal, when they start putting out, the critics all come out, you're going to like it, la la la, whatever. I'm going to be, whatever. When Grace Randolph comes back and actually does her spoilers before it comes to theaters here, I'm gonna, and if she says, and it turns out that they're brother and sister, I'm gonna be going. I'm going, and I'm going to get video walking out if Raylo's crying because I know I'll see it.
Oh man, you're gonna see that shit, bro.
And then some of the Raylos are going to just go ahead and go into the incest area because that's what they do.
Oh yeah, well they can do that. Anyway.
They're nasty.
Yeah, they're pigs. All right, you guys talk. I gotta.
Well, this I'm gonna end the broadcast because I have to step out for a minute as well. But guys, man, I just want to let you guys know that the maybe next week we can start up the male toxicity show again.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with you guys to know exactly your availability, and we can work on it from there.
Okay.
And so it will return, guys. Thank everyone in the chat and everyone who stopped by for
Thanks
joining.
for coming to the chat.
Definitely, guys. And like I said, this is the first Star Wars session that me and Steph had, and it won't be the last. We'll have much more.
Right.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
Otherwise than that, may the force be with you. God bless each and every one of y'all. Peace, guys.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Later.